In this video, we're going to be talking about the specific needs autistic children have and what skills are going to help them thrive. In this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about my history working with autistic children. Then we're going to talk about what doesn't work, what does work, and some great skills that are predictable that you can use for success. Years ago, when I was a young mother with two tiny children of my own, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, I embarked on a journey called treatment foster care. And I started taking in troubled teens, they were all between the ages of 12 and 18, to do therapeutic treatment care in my home. This was high-level care and it required a lot of training, but I was interested in it, I was up for it, and it was a blessing for our family at the time. Never did I realize at that time that I would be learning things that would end up changing the world. There are families all over the world now that are using things that I learned at that time. The children that came into my home had unique processing differences. So some of them were autistic children, some of them were dealing with things like ADHD, ADD, OCD, ODD, kleptomania, compulsive lying. They were sometimes traumatized or abused. They were bipolar. There were many things, sensory issues, attachment issues. These were all the types of issues that I worked with. And I will say that the autistic children that came into my home had a special ability to really hold on to those skills that I taught them and use them. We had great success with autistic children, in fact, with all of the children that came to our home, because the system that we were using was so incredibly predictable. As you know, autistic children love predictability. In fact, there have been advocates for autistic children all over the world who have been referring people to teaching self-government for years now because it's so predictable and consistent. It also helps parents know how to keep their speech limited when they're correcting problems so that they can help decrease the anxiety in their autistic child. When I started first taking in these youth, I was a little bit apprehensive if the skills and principles that we had decided to use and had been trained on would really work with all of these processing differences that the children had. But they did. I was completely surprised, blown away. In fact, I wasn't the only one that was blown away. People started asking me if I would be on the news, if I would come to their church or their PTA group, if I would talk to their parents group about parenting, because they wanted to know what it was I was doing, whether they had a child who processed differently or not, was non-neurotypical or not. They wanted to know how to teach their family self-government. So we're going to talk about what not to do, what to do, and what skills you need to help your autistic child thrive. But first, click that subscribe button. The videos on this channel, whether they say the word autistic in the title or not, are for you. They will help you. The whole Teaching Self-Government program works for autistic children. Click subscribe now. What not to do. This list could be extensive. I've learned some of it from my own personal experience, most of it by watching other families have struggles and helping them through those struggles. And I can tell you that I could talk for a long time about what not to do, but so that we're not too negative, we'll spend just a little bit of time here and then move on. When you are working with an autistic child, it is so important that you don't talk down to the child. When you are teaching them skills, let them know these are adult skills. Even though the child is autistic, they don't want to think that they are doing something babyish. These are life skills, adult skills. Everyone needs the skills that we're going to be talking about, no matter the age. Another thing that you don't want to do with an autistic child is power struggle. You don't want to power struggle with an autistic child because when their anxiety increases like that, they start to shut down. They can't listen. They can't process. The chemicals that are firing in the brain because of all the emotions start to make it so that they can't track what's going on. This sometimes can even make them feel a little afraid, alone, the anxiety levels are just going to start going through the roof. So power struggling is not your friend. Ignoring is also not your friend, because that's going to also increase anxiety in an autistic child. So what do you do instead? That brings us to self-government. The best thing that I have found are the principles and skills of self-government. So what is self-government? Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. This means that a person does a lot of analysis. Now, I know not every autistic person is the same. Everyone is so unique who's on the spectrum. Some autistic people are more logical and some autistic people are more emotional. If a person is more logical, they are going to hold on to the skills that we're going to be talking about next, the self-government skills, as a lifeline. If an autistic person is more emotional, they will at first resist the skills. They won't want to go to that front part of the brain to solve their problems. But those skills will end up being something that they still end up holding on to as a safety net, because they will recognize that their parents don't need to get emotional. Recently, talking with an autistic family, the mother told me, you know, we were doing really great with our self-government skills and principles, and then we kind of got into the holidays and we kind of stopped using our skills. Things happened. And then I had a conversation with my child and I asked them, would you rather me get emotional like this, or would you rather me go back to using the skills? What do you like better? In fact, the child told the parent and other adults, I like to use the skills. I like you to correct me in this more firm way with the skills because, number one, it stops me. Number two, it actually is something they can predict, right? It makes them feel safer when they know what you're going to do. So let's talk about this predictable system. This predictable system is based on 4 basic skills, 3 meetings, 5 teaching styles that parents use, and the children learn all of it. Even autistic children can learn all of the skills of self-government. The 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. Then we have 3 meetings where we have planning sessions with the children. We also have problem-solving exercises that we teach them to do so that they can develop the prefrontal cortex. And we have 5 teaching styles, which are essentially 5 skill sets for adults to learn so that they can better help their autistic child in those most difficult moments. All of those things are actually mentioned in this book, Parenting a House United, and in my TSG parenting course, as well as in my 3-day intensive trainings, which is the fastest, best way to learn the Teaching Self-Government Parenting System, that I do all around the world a few times a year. You can find out about all of these things on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. What does it really mean to thrive? When a person is thriving, that means they're the best version of themselves. They're living their purpose. They're happy. They're able to solve their problems. Thriving doesn't mean that everything's perfect all the time, but it means that a person has hope, that they know which direction to go, and they know how to solve their problems. Learning self-government is a method for solving problems. Learning skills and principles of self-government prepare people to disagree appropriately with others, to follow through on tasks, to accept when things don't go their way, and to accept when there are consequences to their own decisions. Everyone needs the skills and principles of self-government, not just autistic children, but when autistic children learn the skills and principles of self-government, they truly do thrive. I encourage you to go to teachingselfgovernment.com to find out more about the resources and trainings for learning self-government in your family. It will help so much. I can guarantee you won't be the same parent again, and your children's hearts will change too. Go to teachingselfgovernment.com today. I'll see you there.